In this video we're going to be talking about Super Mario Maker 3 because I believe this game is coming out sooner than we think. Let's get into it. Before we get started with today's video, I just want to thank everyone for their recent support. Thank you for helping us hit 3,100 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you are doing so. And if you have already subscribed, thank you very much for doing so. Every subscriber really does help out the channel. One of the best Nintendo Switch games and one of the best Wii U games are the Super Mario Maker games. Mario Maker 1 and Mario Maker 2 are fantastic games. I love them. Every Nintendo fan should have these games because they are pretty much endless Mario. It's endless Mario levels. You can never ever finish the Mario Maker games because people are always making new levels and you can get hundreds and hundreds of hours out of these Mario Maker games. So I recommend them to absolutely everyone. The last Mario Maker game was way back in 2019 and DLC support stopped in 2020 for Mario Maker 2. Mario Maker 2 sort of had about a year of DLC and that was kind of it. While Mario Maker 2 is a great game, it kind of feels like Mario Maker 1.5, but it was still a fun time to get this on Nintendo Switch. I believe that we are really close to the launch of Mario Maker 3 on the Nintendo Switch 2. Now there's a few reasons for this. Mario Maker 2 released around 4 years after the first Super Mario Maker game, but in that time we also had a 3DS port launch at the same time as well. So it doesn't really take Nintendo long to make a Mario Maker game. A lot of the development is kind of done by the fans, so it wouldn't take that long for Nintendo to make a new Mario Maker game for a new system. Now we haven't seen Mario Maker since 2019, technically 2020, because that was when the last DLC update came out. So I feel like Nintendo has probably been working on a new Mario Maker probably since around 2020 for the launch of the Switch 2. Of course, this goes without saying, but the Switch 2's mouse controls feel made for Mario Maker. It seems like a perfect fit for Mario Maker. These mouse controls can be so precise and it's kind of like you're using a touchscreen or like editing something on a PC. Yeah, the mouse controls would work really well for Mario Maker, so I just think that a new Mario Maker would be a perfect fit for Nintendo Switch 2. Now, I also think that Nintendo has been working on Mario Maker for quite a long time because we never actually saw an update for Mario Maker 2 for Nintendo Switch 2. If you don't know, when the Switch 2 launched, lots of Switch 1 games actually got free updates, and one of these games that never ever got a free update was Mario Maker 2. One of the games that did get an update was Game Builder Garage, and that has very similar sort of like point and click sort of controls to make games. They updated that game. Nintendo didn't update Mario Maker 2. My theory is, and this is just speculation, my theory is Nintendo didn't update Mario Maker 2 because they know that Mario Maker 3 is only a year away and they want to save those exclusive sort of mouse features for that game. Mario Maker just seems like the perfect mouse mode game, so it kind of makes sense why they didn't update it with the mouse controls. Mario Maker or a new Mario Maker at the start of the Switch 2 generation would be insane for Nintendo Switch Online memberships and people that are getting a Switch 2. Mario Maker is a huge game and definitely a system seller, so if you had a new one on the Switch 2 that had exclusive features like the mouse controls, I feel like that would get a lot of fans to buy a Switch 2. Plus, if you launch a game like Mario Maker, it also means you're going to have a lot of Nintendo fans resubscribe to the online service, and Nintendo wants to get as many people as they can to subscribe to this service. They want people to have the Switch Online service. Nintendo makes a lot of money on the online service, so I feel like they want to have as many people be subscribed to it as possible, and if you're playing a game like Mario Maker, you're going to want to play levels online, so it makes sense to have like a huge online game for Switch 2. And apart from Mario Kart, we haven't really seen a huge online game yet. The only problem that I see with a Mario Maker 3 coming out for the Switch 2 is that it will kind of make Mario Maker 2 for the Switch kind of redundant. We've seen that with Splatoon 2. It's very hard to get into a ranked match because everyone has moved over to Splatoon 3. So if we see the same happen with Mario Maker 2 and everyone moves over to Mario Maker 3, Mario Maker 2 will have less support and less people playing it. Because that's my main concern with Mario Maker 3, I want it to feel different from Mario Maker 2 and Mario Maker 1. Mario Maker 1 and 2, yes, there was a lot of changes. Mario Maker 2 had its whole direct, but at the core, it felt really similar to Mario Maker 1. There was only one new style, that was the 3D world style. If Mario Maker 3 is coming out for the Switch 2, I want it to stand out. I want it to have different game styles. I want to have an Odyssey style, or maybe a Mario Galaxy style, maybe even a Mario Sunshine style. And that brings me to my next point. Is it now when we finally see, is the time right for us to finally see a 3D Mario Maker, a Mario Maker 3D? Could Nintendo call the next Mario Maker 3D and we have 3D levels and 3D worlds? I don't know how this would work. I think it would be quite hard to try and implement this, but the mouse mode might actually help out with this. I feel like if they did a 3D mode, it would really make Mario Maker 3D really stand out from Mario Maker 2 or Mario Maker 1, because these exclusive 3D modes are only on Switch 2, and it would get people to buy the game and also buy a Switch 2. I feel like a 3D game sort of maker like this would be absolutely insane for Nintendo to implement, and it would really shock people. I can just imagine people playing 3D levels on Twitter and showcasing what they can make. That would be absolutely insane, and just sort of the word of mouth from a 3D level creator like that would be absolutely insane. Now we know the tech exists because Game Builder Garage, that had 3D segments, as well as Dreams for the PS4, that had a huge 3D sort of open world kind of level creator. So 3D level creators do exist, they can exist, and I feel like Nintendo needs to bring that to Mario Maker 3. Something else I'd love Nintendo to add to Mario Maker 3 is the idea of extending that idea of Mario Maker. What if Mario Maker also means making paintings, making drawings? What if Nintendo brings back Mario Paint from the Super Nintendo? We recently had a Donkey Kong Direct, and that Donkey Kong Direct showed off a sculpt mode with the mouse. Now this seems kind of sort of a test for a Mario Paint. It feels very similar, so I'd love to see Nintendo use that mouse mode for a Mario Paint. Now Nintendo could just make a separate Mario Paint game, but I believe just cramming that all into Super Mario Maker, because, you know, paintings and Mario Paint is very still creative, it's still making things. To include that into Mario Maker, to be able to share your creations online, it would really make Mario Maker 3 really stand out. Now in terms of a release date for Mario Maker 3, I believe that it is actually closer than you might think. If you don't know, Mario actually turns 40 this year. Nintendo always likes to celebrate Mario's birthday, whether that's with Mario 35, they had a whole direct where they announced Mario 3D All-Stars, and all this extra Mario content, Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, so that was Mario 35, and then for Mario's 30th, they actually announced the first Mario Maker, and that was the big celebratory game for Mario's 30th. Nintendo's celebrations usually last pretty much the whole year, so they last the physical year, so April to April, so we could see a Mario Maker 3 launch to use those new mouse controls, to use all the features that I've just said for Mario's 40th. This game could be a part of Mario's 40th celebration and maybe even launch next summer, because next summer is still the same year, it's still a part of the Mario 40th anniversary. With all that being said, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now this is all speculation, we don't have confirmation that a new Mario Maker is on the way or even in development, but I believe there's a lot of theories behind this. I believe we could actually see Mario Maker launch within the next year or two for the Nintendo Switch 2. As always, let me know all of your thoughts down in the comments below, everyone. Do you agree with me? Do you believe we'll see a Mario Maker 2 happen within the next few years? Do you believe it will have mouse controls? Do you want a Mario Paint section of this game? Let me know all of your thoughts, all of your theories on the next Mario Maker game, and I'll try and respond to as many comments as I possibly can. With all that being said, thank you very much for watching, everyone, and I will see you in another video. Thank you for watching, everyone.